Guys, Melissa here. It is a super hot day today. I will be going for another swim as soon as my green bathing suit dries. I will be doing that. The only thing is the tan lines from my white bathing suit show. So I'm like, I don't care for that. So, I have a video coming. This one might get posted before. Sometimes they're out of order and I wasn't feeling good today. Sore throat yesterday. So I still went to my job interview with a sore throat, and luckily they gave me some soda, which helped. So when you don't feel good, sore throat, drink some soda. That's what helps me. Eat something you like, even when you don't feel like eating. Eat one of your favorite dishes, okay? And that's what I did. I just got back from a restaurant. I had one of my favorite dishes. You know, there's nothing wrong with eating out. It's just a matter of, how you're going to do it. So yesterday when I was out and about, I was at the bookstore at Focus on the Family, and they have Wits End, right? And so I went in their soda shop, found a little ice cream. Actually, I thought I was ordering a kid size. It was like this big. It was just on the top and then the cone. And it was only $1.08. So God provided for me because I was like, God, I've got to cash my check and I don't have money on me. And then I realized I had some change and I had a few loose bills. So I actually had their hot dog and I had their ice cream. And that was to help soothe my throat. And then today again, I had a little bit of ice cream just to make me feel better. So when you're not feeling good, get plenty of sleep, which I went to bed early last night. Get your rest. I woke up late. I ate something that I really liked to make sure I'm eating. Keep your appetite. That will help you a lot. And then, your soda for your sore throat and ice cream. So I am feeling better. Okay, and with that in mind, besides sweating right now because it's so hot here, I sweat easy too. As a woman, I sweat easy. So, what do I want to say? All right, so I had something to say and I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. So there's a lot going on. So I went to this restaurant and I've been trying to get my own business going too, right? And I just feel like, I have some holes here. And so my mind is always thinking. So I'm at the restaurant and they're very busy. I gotta fix my phone. The back of it's coming off. I need some duct tape. So anyways, they're super busy. And I'm thinking, offer your seat if they want to pay for your drink, and I'm always thinking of these entrepreneur things, right? So, as I'm sitting there thinking, I hear this conversation next to me, and I'm not trying to eavesdrop, but I couldn't help it because they were next to me. And I heard this woman talking about business ideas, and different resources like SCORE. And I'm like, oh yeah, I already know who they are. I got to look back into that. And as I'm listening, I'm like, it sounds like she's doing consulting. So I didn't want to interrupt their lunch or anything. So once they were done, I handed her a piece of paper I had with my name and number on it. Excuse me, so she can call me. And she's like, yeah, I will give you a bunch of resources, that I know of to help you out. So that is a really good thing. That was just God in the right place at the right time. So I'm excited about that. And then I was on Facebook last night, and this really ticks me off about my husband. I see not only is he running around with like this woman who's already like a divorcee, from what I saw, she's like a divorcee. But he's running around with her and Kevin Leandro. And then I see on her post for July 4th, I see we are celebrating our independence. This is Kevin, she named, my husband, and her. And I'm thinking, what the heck, right? This woman is already trying to move in, and she has no boundaries. And that is my husband, right? He's still my husband. And when you are married, I think there is some protective, not that you're jealous of her, because she's a dog face. She really is. Not that you're jealous of her, but when you're married, there's a sense of protectiveness, right? And even though we are going through a divorce, He's already hanging around with this woman, probably giving her motorcycle rides. I mean, I haven't even gone for a motorcycle ride with anybody. Um, Not that I haven't had opportunity, but I just haven't because I'm still married. And I haven't done anything that I shouldn't be doing because I'm married, right? So he's doing this, and then I see on her Facebook post, not to give her much attention because she's not even worth talking about, honestly, but I see, oh, thank you so much, Kevin and Ben and so for taking me bike riding or whatever. And I'm like, oh, brother, is she trying to pour on the charm, right? So, so who knows? You know, when you're married, you're supposed to have an exclusive relationship with your wife, and you're supposed to take all that energy for the last 18 months and put it on your marriage, and instead he's put it elsewhere. So last night I was just like, don't ever let him come back, ladies. Don't ever let him come back. And when I mentor other women on my Facebook and on here, it's like, yeah, don't let him come back. And most men will try to come back. That's what they'll try to do. They'll try to come back. They'll come to their senses and they'll be like, wow, my woman's like 80% good quality. And maybe there were a couple things missing, maybe 20%, but she's got it. You know, the one I married, she's got it. And when they're seeing, you know, another woman, they're like, oh, yeah, there is that 20% that looks like 80%. But then they wake up and they're like, shoot, you know, I goofed. I made a mistake. And so a lot of people think the grass is greener on the other side. And so he had it all. My husband had it all. Beautiful wife, beautiful sons, beautiful home we were renting on like a pond, lake, whatever you want to call it. Um, Good relationships for the most part with his sons. I think there were only a couple issues there. That's it out of 30 something years. 34 years of marriage, right? And even then, the man takes the lead and he is a dad and he's supposed to take the lead. So, and he's supposed to work with his wife too, right? Because as a mother, you see things, you're sensitive, you're vulnerable. You know, you are the one who can sense things usually more than a man can because you've got the vulnerability, the sensitivity, and you're supposed to be a team. So, so yeah, that's what's going on. And I think I got a tickle in my throat. So anyways, when a woman is trying to move in on your man and you need to let him go. You need to let him go. He's acting inappropriate with another woman. This is so funny because he blamed me for acting inappropriate in a workplace situation, which was not the case at all. This guy was like preening himself. I think he had a crush. He was just, you know, young guy. And you know what? He tried to do that to me, and I actually stayed very faithful to my husband after our first year of marriage. First year of marriage was tough. So I talked about how he broke up with me again when we were dating, and there was this. My sister-in-law has a couple sisters. So, no, 3 sisters. Okay, 3 sisters. So him and my brother are like on Elm Street in Manchester checking out women when we already lived together. This was in 90. We had lived on Monroe Street, first apartment. He's like, I don't want you to be in college. I don't want you to work. I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to do that. And I was trying to still go to college, right? So eventually I decided for myself, you know, this is not real down to earth. I don't really, you know, want to work here. So he's like, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. We can't afford this place. Kind of like the same thing that happened with our house. This place asked for a lot for rent. And rather than stepping up, he breaks up with me. I go and live back home. He lives back at home. And he's like, I want my freedom. So he's hanging out with the wrong guys. He's partying. You know, he did this a long time ago. So I'm like, I totally don't care about myself anymore, right? I don't care. I'm dating other guys. I don't care. And then there was another guy I dated, Aaron. I wouldn't even call that dating. We went out, wouldn't even call it dating. And it was a real quick thing. And that's just because I kept going down, down, down. So so anyways, he comes back and he's like, "Oh, I want to work things out. This is at Christmas." And I had already gotten my own place because I didn't want to live with my parents by this happened in August. I think it was by September I had my own place across from my favorite Uncle Bill. And I'm working at the state, and I brought all these clothes, and I've got my own room, and I'm working for the State Department of Agriculture. I'm doing secretarial work. I worked for Sue, who I met at Jazzercise. And I'm doing this, and then I'm like, okay, I've got awful cramps. Nobody helped me. I had excruciating cramps over there. And I do think this had to do with the abortion, too. And I couldn't even get up off the floor. My mother was called. I couldn't even get up off the floor. And I didn't know what was going on, if I was hemorrhaging or what was happening. So I had to leave there, and then one thing after another with that job. And so I ended up working at a pizza place in Epsom. Talked about dating Don. He was a user. I talked about him lying to my dad. So as I look at these relationships, Randy tricked me. Mike broke into my family's home and my best friend's home. Ben and I together, and then he decides to break up with me. And then I'm with Don, and he's a user, Aaron, and then my best friend uses me, right? And I'm hitting rock bottom each time. Boom, boom, boom. And so I'm just trying to figure things out, and my husband left me, and then he wanted to get back together. So we worked it out, and he got down on one knee. When was it? 90? Yeah, we were married 91. It's coming up 33 years, September 6th of this year. So next week. Sorry, guys. Let me take some water. So 33 years of marriage because our son is 31. Do the math. So anyways, we're married in September 6th, 1991. So we get married and everything at his parents' home. We go to Vermont on a honeymoon. And then he starts acting up. He starts treating me like trash. First year of marriage. Kind of like, I got you, so now I don't need to treat you right. So that, I do not recommend living together before you're married. It just sets a tone for, not only is it wrong, and I didn't know that then, but it just sets a tone for heartache. It really does. So anyways, like I said, we were already living together. He's with my brother on Elm Street after living together, and he's looking at other women. And he's with my sister-in-law's, starts checking out my sister-in-law's sister, who was back then, I don't know what she's like now, but total scum. Total scum. And he's thinking about dating her, and he wants his freedom, and he has to plant his seeds of freedom and all this bull. So he comes back to me, and he calls me or something. I know what happened. He was working at the Old Mill restaurant in Epsom, right down the road. This was all God. And I happened to work at Bregan Court Reporting Company in Manchester, and they have a Christmas party right over at the Old Mill, because the Old Mill was a nice restaurant. And this was in Epsom. And so I go to the Christmas party, right, and I bump into him. And once he sees me and I see him, everything falls apart, and he saw me there, and he's calling me, and he misses me. And that was a business meeting or Christmas party for the business. So he's missing me, and we get back together. So then we move into my Aunt Kim's old place. After we're married, we're doing good together. And we're on North State Street, and I'm working at Dunkin's, and he's walking over, and he's coming to see me and everything. And then I start hairdressing school, and he starts trashing me, just starts treating me like crap. And all the girls in hairdressing school are like, "Melissa, you ought to leave him. He's a jerk. You ought to leave him. You ought to leave him. Look at what he's doing." And so I did. And that's where some of the feminism came in. But I also felt like, yeah, we were married, but he left me before. So I felt like, okay, all is fair and square, love and war, right? So he wasn't being nice to me. I left him totally honest about it, totally left, packed my bags,